All right, well, I'm going to get started. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. Sherry is going to just pull up our deck slide, and we're going to kick off a jam-packed information webinar for job seekers this morning. So welcome to the Simcoe Muskoka Workforce Development Board and Literacy Network webinar for Apprenticeship for Job Seekers. I think we do have maybe the longest name in the ministry, although I think we also have some competition here this morning with a few other organizations that might have a longer name than ours. But if you're not aware, we've just recently amalgamated our workforce board and our literacy network, one of the first in the province to do so. So we're very excited to bring our team to you today. My name is Kelly McKenna. I'm the executive director, but also with me today, I have a few of my team members that I would like to introduce to you. Certainly throughout the webinar, if you have any questions, please just connect with them on chat, any technical issues or anything like that. Obviously, we've got Sherry. Sherry's leading the technical side of things today. So Sherry, if you give us a little wave. There we go. Also on our team this morning, we have Deborah Flynn, who's been joining us and helping us prepare a lot of the materials for today. And we also have our newest member of the team, Emily Brown, with us. So Emily is very new and just joining us to learn, just like you guys today, I guess, about how apprenticeship for job seekers can be an easier transition. A couple of housekeeping things. Yes, if you would just mind putting yourself on mute. We will do Q&As after each of the speakers, but if you do have a question in between, please just pop it in the chat and Deb will be monitoring that. So before we get started today, I would like to start today's virtual webinar with a land acknowledgement. I would like to acknowledge all the Indigenous peoples' lands that we live on. And while we meet today on a virtual platform, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of these lands on which we work, live, and call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relations between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. So as I mentioned, we have a jam-packed morning. We're really going to try and stay on time. But we have Skilled Trades Ontario with us today. We also have the Ministry of Labour, Immigration, Training and Skills Development. We have a panel of experts, as well as an apprentice who's actually going through, the apprenticeship program to get better jobs. And so before I take too much time, let's get to our speakers. So first up this morning from Skilled Trades Ontario, we have Chelsea Mader. And Chelsea comes from Skilled Trades Ontario. She is the Executive Assistant of the Corporate Affairs and Partnerships. She comes from an entire family of tradesmen and women, and she has worked for Skilled Trades Ontario since October of last year, and she has always had a foot in the trades. So Chelsea, I'm going to hand it over to you to tell us more about how Skilled Trades Ontario can help job seekers.
Hello, and thank you so much. Give me 1 second here. Alrighty, so thank you so much for having me here today. I'm Chelsea from Skilled Trades Ontario, and I am thrilled to be giving this presentation today on behalf of Skilled Trades Ontario. Today, I'll be briefly telling you what we do at Skilled Trades Ontario and what apprenticeship is and why apprenticeship may be the pathway for you and the benefits of being a certified skilled tradesperson. It's a lot of information to squeeze into one small short slide here, so I'd be happy to answer any questions afterwards. I'm going to jump right in and tell you who we are and where we fit in the system. When we think about apprenticeship and skilled trades in Ontario, you can see that the system has a lot of moving parts. There are many partners involved in apprenticeship and skilled trades. Skilled trades is just one of the many pieces of this overall system. What we do, skilled trades is responsible for apprenticeship and skilled trades certification in Ontario. In our mandate at Skilled Trades, we establish the apprenticeship programs, training standards, curriculum standards, and certifying exams. We assess experienced and qualified persons who have not completed an apprenticeship program in Ontario, but may have worked within the skilled trades for many years. We issue all the certifications of qualifications in all trades with certifying exams, and of course renew the certificates of qualification. We also conduct the research about apprenticeship and the trades. Why pursue a career in skilled trades? Skilled trades provides consistent work, meaningful careers, great pay, and with an apprenticeship, you can earn while you learn. If you followed the news in the past few years, I'm sure you've seen similar headlines to these. There is a massive skilled trade shortage. Employers cannot fill positions. These are actual clippings that I've gathered that are recent. And just for a stat here, there is a 70% job vacancy in skilled trades post-pandemic. The construction industry needs 35% more skilled tradespersons. My next slide, I'm going to show you the top in-demand trades. Currently, this is forever changing, mind you, but currently the top in-demand trades are a welder, electrician, millwrights, painters and decorators, chefs and cooks. You can always go on to the federal website as well. They have some great labor market information, and you can do your own research and keep up to date with what the top in-demand careers are. From over 140 careers to choose from in the skilled trades, we break these down into 4 different categories: construction, industrial, motive power, and service. Out of the 140 skilled trades, 23 of these are compulsory trades. Some examples of what a compulsory trade would be are a plumber, electrician, steam fitter, hairstylist, and out of the 121 non-compulsory trades, a couple examples would be a cook, an industrial electrician, and child development practitioner. The difference between compulsory and non-compulsory trades are that all compulsory trades have a certifying exam at the end. You do not need to be a registered apprentice or a certified journey person to work in a non-compulsory trade. What is apprenticeship? Apprenticeship has been around for hundreds and actually thousands of years. This system has worked for so long, which is why we have not changed it. An apprentice is an educational pathway that combines on-the-job training and technical training. As an apprentice, you will learn a skilled trade on the job. You will work and learn from experienced workers and get paid while you're doing it. Approximately 80% of your apprenticeship is on the job working with your hands. You'll also learn in a classroom from instructors who know the trades or who have worked in the trades. In most cases, it takes between 2 and 5 years to complete an apprenticeship. This is one of my favorite sayings, this next one. No student debt, earn while you learn. Earn while you learn has been a saying that has been around for decades now. It has stood the test of time because it's true. As an apprentice, 80% of your time on the job, you will be learning while you're earning. We are often told that we need to attend college or university to be successful, and that this is the only pathway. It's not the case. One of Ontario's best kept secrets is that people working in the trades often make more than those with PhDs, and none of them have student debts. These jobs often come with benefits and pensions, making a trade a lifetime career with comfortability in retirement. How do you know if an apprenticeship is right for you? Some of us learn differently. I personally need to physically be there. I need to see how something is being done. I want to see the steps and get my hands into that. You don't need to figure out, or sorry, you do need to figure out how you can learn, how you learn. And if you figure that out and maybe you learned similar to me, then a skilled trade might be the pathway for you. As an example, if you want to be a doctor, you go to university or medical school. If you want to become a teacher, the pathway is you go to university or a teacher's college. Apprenticeship is the pathway to getting a certification in a skilled trade, just like some of the past examples. It's an educational pathway that combines on-the-job training and technical training. You don't need to be a straight A person or have any experience within the trades. You may not even know anybody who works in the trades, and this is okay. I came from a family of all trades persons, my mom, my dad, my brother, my aunts, my uncles, my partner. So I had that experience, but some people may have zero experience, and that is okay. What you do need to be is focused, dependable, mature, self-motivated, have problem-solving skills, and be willing to show up every single day to work. That is what employers are looking for today. The employer who sponsors you is willing to train you if you have 10 years experience or no experience at all. This is the beauty in skilled trades and apprenticeship. How to become an apprentice. First, do your research. This is your job to do the research. Find a career that fits yours, suits your needs. Out of over 144 skilled trades, I'm certain you'll find a trade that suits your passions. Secondly, find an employer, or as we would call it, a sponsor. It is your responsibility to do the footwork, just like applying for another job. You need to get out and show your enthusiasm for work. Hand out resumes, make some calls, and see who's looking for an apprentice. This information is available online and through talking with people. You have to put yourself out there just like any other job search that you would do. Third, fill out and submit your application. This goes to sorry, I'm laughing here because Sherry had mentioned another really long name. So when you submit your application, this goes to the Ministry of Labor, Immigration Training and Skills Development Apprenticeship Division. That is a mouthful. They will assess your application, and if you qualify, they will let you know. Fourth, once your application is approved, they will send you something called a registered training agreement, which you will sign with your employer. And as simple as that, you'll start working. So if you're an experienced worker new to Ontario, we won't ask you to we won't tell you that you can't do it. There is some steps that need to be taken within that. So if you're an experienced worker in a skilled trade, but you have not completed an Ontario apprenticeship program, you may qualify to have your skills, experience, and qualifications assessed by Skilled Trades Ontario as a first step to obtaining a certification of qualification in Ontario. To be approved, you must provide sufficient evidence that you have competency in the skilled trade and sufficient experience within the trade. If you have a certificate from another province or territory, you can apply to have your credentials verified with no further training or examination. I put this slide in here. This is more directed for the employer and what their responsibilities are, but as an apprentice, I think that it is important to have this information, knowing that your employer has rights as well. So they are a key player in your apprenticeship journey. It is your employer's responsibility to ensure that you are receiving appropriate training, workplace training geared to your specific apprenticeship program. They are required to release you to attend school, Your employer must sign off on all your achievements based on your specific training standards. They must notify the ministry of any changes that may affect your sponsorship ability. Most employers know this, but it's good for you to have this information as well. So there's a lot of value to having to being a certified apprentice. Certifications, sorry, my words are all jumbled today. Certifications mark the final step in apprenticeship and signals that an apprentice is ready to enter the workforce as a skilled trades person. In non-compulsory trades, many employers require certification in the hiring process. Provides employers with confidence, knowing that their employees have skills and abilities. Certified individuals increase the professionalism of trades and increase consumer confidence. Many of certified apprentices have higher paying jobs and employed with permanent jobs and work in a job related to their trade. And many, like I mentioned before, many of these come with pensions and benefits. So it's going to wrap up here. As I mentioned from the beginning of this presentation, there's a lot of information to be shared in a very short amount of time. I realize that that is very compact, but I'm happy to leave my email with the SIMCO, Muskoka Workforce Development Board, with any questions. I'm always here to answer any of those. Thank you so much for having me here today, and we're here to support you on your apprenticeship journey if that's what it looks like for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chelsea. That was great. And you're right, jam-packed of information, not just on how to get into the trades, but the value of the trades. So thank you. I am going to open it up just for some questions.
Sure.
So we've got some time, and I know we'll share the link and all of your contact information, but I will open it up if anybody on the line right now has a question for Chelsea. You can just, oh, there we go. Heather has got her hand up. So Heather, I'll turn it over to you. Please go ahead.
Hi. First of all, thank you very much. It was a great presentation. The question that I had was about, especially in a small community, it can be harder if you don't know people to act as sponsors. I know that that's been a big problem with people that I work with, and even myself way back when. What would be your suggestion for connecting with a sponsor if you don't come from a space where you know people and you're basically an unknown commodity asking somebody to take you on?
Right. We do see that often. There is a ton of different programs online that will, a really good one is ApprenticSearch.com. They'll help you, guide you through that. They'll give you a list of people who are looking for apprenticeships. I will gather some information and put it in the chat of a couple different websites that you can actually go to, and they'll be able to provide you with employers who are looking for apprentices.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
A lot of it is, speaking with people, getting out there, putting yourself out there, but there's also a lot of online resources available too.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
That's great. Great question, Heather. Thank you. I see Mac's hand. Mac Greaves, please go ahead with your question.
Sure. Just to answer Heather's question as well. They're Employment Ontario, so the Employment Ontario Employment Services. So almost all small locations, towns across Ontario have an Employment Ontario office, and they provide employment services that helps connect job seekers to employers. So really, I think especially in smaller locations, I mean, I look after Midland, for example. We have the YMCA in Midland that has the employment services. Bracebridge, Huntsville, Gravenhurst, they all have EO-sponsored offices that help connect job seekers and employers. So that's always a great place to start, is with your employment services office in your hometown. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Great resource, Mac. Thank you for mentioning that. Next is Jeanette. Have you got a question for Chelsea? Go ahead, Jeanette.
Hi, sorry for coming in a little late. I was just getting out of another meeting. So I work for Northern College Community Employment Services here in Timmins, Ontario as a job developer. And what we're facing is that the college, they provide a lot of pre-apprenticeship programs as well as the 1 year, 2 year, 3 year programs. And when I reach out to a lot of employers here in Timmins, a lot of them are not able to take anyone on because of their full capacity. So you know how you have to take You have to have a journeyman in order to hire an apprentice, and that's what we're facing here in Timmins. So right now we're working, I have a few electricians that are looking for employment as well as millwrights. They're not ready to relocate. We have a lot of mines here in Northern Ontario. Unfortunately, they're not able to take them on as well. So this is where we're struggling here.
Yeah, I do also see, I see that happening. Sorry, give me 1 second. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. Oops. If I can.
So we could always reach out to the
Okay,
ministry,
Chelsea, I
but the
got it.
ministry.
Oh, okay. Sorry about
Oh,
that.
sorry. So I could always reach out to our ministry here in South Porcupine as well. But the problem is they're probably going to give me the same list of names of employers that they deal with, that I deal with, but they can't take on anyone because they're full.
Because they don't have enough room.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what we're struggling with here. I don't know if anyone else. No, that's fine. I don't know if there's anyone else in the room here that's having that same issue, but we're trying our best.
And I think just with the lack of job, our shortage right now, we don't have that many certified people, right? Yeah. And that's the point of, say, for us is getting out there, really trying to have people write these exams and, go forward with getting a certificate. I don't know how we change that. I'm hoping this next generation, I'm in that next generation, seeing the importance of that. And I guess right now our point is trying to get that out and the importance of that. Or I don't really have an answer for you because I think that's going across the board.
Or if they change the ratio.
Or if they change, I know, but is there enough?
I know.
I'm not sure. I wish I had a better answer for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Seems like the labor shortage is hitting everyone at every stage. Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Well, Chelsea, that was really super informative for job seekers. I really think we will definitely be sharing your contact and your links. And so if anybody on the webinar today wishes to follow up with Skilled Trades Ontario, now you have a contact. So Chelsea, thank you so much for sharing that today. And we are going to move on to our next speaker. Today, actually, Brian Hoysa is not going to be joining us, but we do have David Hartwick from the Ministry of Labor, Immigration, Training, and Skills Development. Again, this is a great connection for job seekers in your communities to connect with the ministry for a variety of opportunities. And so, David, I'm going to hand it over to you to tell us a little bit more about how job seekers can work with the ministry.
Great. Thanks, Kelly. As Chelsea mentioned, apprenticeship is a journey, and my ministry, the Ministry of Labor, Immigration, Training, and Skills Development, I'll just refer to it as the ministry going forward. That's a mouthful. Basically, what we're here to do is we assist the apprentice during that journey. The ministry coordinates agreements between the apprentices, the sponsors, who are the employers, and colleges. We create training agreements, which is the starting point for an apprenticeship. As part of the apprenticeship experience, we also coordinate the formal education, providing a linkage between the apprentice and the local colleges. My ministry not only oversees the management of college offers, we also provide a significant amount of funding to cover costs associated with going to college, including tuition, travel funds, accommodation funds, daycare, and upon successful completion of each college level, many trades are also eligible for a completion grant. And we provide that funding or an access to that funding. Much of the funding comes from the federal government, and we act as a conduit between the apprentice and that funding. At the end of the apprenticeship journey, most apprentices will take what's referred to as a certificate of qualification exam, and that exam is delivered in our office. You come into our office and you write your exam, and our ministry oversees that exam, and we sort of work hand in hand with Skilled Trades Ontario. So at the beginning, people sign up through Skilled Trades Ontario, the file comes to us, and then we deal with the apprentice sponsor and ensure that their education is being met. And in order to move things along, we also try to keep in contact with each of the apprentices to ensure that once they have all of their skills and they have all of their education, that they move to that next step, that they move to writing their certificate of qualification and becoming a journey person, and that way their employer can then take on a new apprentice. Does anybody have any questions with regard to our function and how we assist the apprentices?
Yes, David, thank you. We do have a question from Carrie Ann. Go ahead, Carrie Ann.
Hi, thank you. I was curious for the exams that they're taking. Is there accessibility available for those exams, like there is at the college level for extra hours on the testing, or if they need a quiet place, or is there any kind of accessibility help for those?
Yes. So really, all the apprentice needs to do is self-identify. Just let us know if they would like to have more time. We can extend the amount of time necessary for them to take the exam. If they need a translator, if they need we have individual rooms where they can be by themselves if they need to have more of a quiet spot to take their exam. So yes, the answer to all of those questions is yes, that's available. You just need to let us know what your requirements are, and then we'll work with you.
Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, David. We have another question from Mac. Please go ahead, Mac.
Not so much a question, but a comment. I think, David, thanks. I think you're underselling your value. Your local folks, if you're looking for an apprenticeship, your local ministry office, the Ministry of Labor, Training and Skills Development, plays such an important role, and they are incredibly helpful. They have education and training consultants that will help you along the way. I think they do a fantastic job of helping you through that registered training agreement process. So if you want to be an apprentice, please become familiar with your local MLITSD office. David and his crew have been huge supporters of apprenticeship in Simcoe Muskoka. And they have thousands of apprentices that report to them. So really use that value. The local office also has information sheets in their office for the different trades. So please access those services. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mac. That is something that we try to do, is to maintain a relationship with the apprentice as well. We aren't just a database. We don't just take the information and then store it somewhere. We have a constant interaction with the apprentice throughout their journey. from even before they start their apprenticeship. We take care of pre-apprenticeship as well, but we establish that database, but we also answer a lot of questions on a daily basis from apprentices about their journey, in next steps, or if they change from one company to another company, what their steps are to make that happen. And we answer a lot of questions with regard to ratios as well. The employers contact us to ask us questions, so we deal with sponsors as well. We did have our ratios used to be greater than 1-to-1. It was a situation where you might have for your second apprentice, it may have been 2-to-1, and for your next apprentice, it was a little bit all over the place, and we tried to streamline that a couple of years ago to just make it a 1-to-1 ratio. And for instance, I had an employer call me, and he said that he wants to take on another apprentice because he has more people. And I asked him if he had any former employees who have retired, who might be able to bring them back into the company, because during COVID, a lot of people who were close to retirement, instead of dealing with the whole try to work around, they just retired. So in his case, that's exactly what he did. He reached out to a former employee who was a journeyman, brought him back on, and he said, he's going to work with me 3 days a week, and he's going to, ramp himself back up in order to be that journeyman to work with the apprentice. So increasingly, that is the case. People are staying in the workforce longer in order to meet the ratios, but also to train the new generation.
Yeah, that's really interesting, David, pulling back our seniors back into the workforce to help support the training. I love it. I love it. All right. Any other questions for David or for the ministry and how they can support the job seekers? Okay. All right. Well, David, thank you so much. In our resource follow-up, we'll make sure that we have the information on how people can best get connected with the ministry and follow up on their apprenticeship journey. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right, well, next up, we have a panel of experts who can not only assist job seekers, but one of them is a job seeker. So we're going to hear firsthand from these panel of experts. But we also have an expert who is going to lead the conversation. So please welcome Mac. Mac Greaves is the Associate Dean and the Campus Principal at Georgian College. And he is going to be moderating the panel discussion today and also introducing our panel of experts. So Mac, I'm going to hand it over to you. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Kelly, and welcome everyone. What an important discussion to be having. As everyone has probably heard for the last 5 or 6 years, how there's a skilled trade shortage, not only in Ontario, across Canada. Certainly when we look at areas, the different sectors like manufacturing, construction, transportation, the service industry. I mean, look at construction alone. Our provincial government says we need 1.5 million net new homes in Ontario. So just to give you an idea how valuable carpenters, electricians, plumbers, welders are, it's an incredible time to be getting into the skilled trade. So again, my name's Mac Greaves. I'm the Associate Dean for Apprenticeship at Georgian. I've also, for many years, chaired the Provincial Apprenticeship Board for the 24 colleges. Have a little bit of background on it. And joining me today, we have the Christian Labour Council, Tila and Kylie.
Kaylee.
Kaylee, I knew I'd get it wrong, Kaylee. I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I appreciate the attempt.
No problem.
But he's got two.
Oh, there they are. I haven't met these two before, folks. That's why it's tough doing these online when you've never met them. Never before. Welcome. We also have Gloria Evans, who is from the Employment Services. So when I mentioned before the Employment Ontario Employment Services, she's in Barrie at the Collier Street Employment Services office. I have worked with Gloria for a long time, and she's done a lot of work assisting apprentices to get into the job market and working with employers to help them get understanding the apprenticeship system. And we also have Tim. I'm looking at my screen. Tim, you're up in the right-hand corner.
Oh, hello.
Jamardi. Tim, maybe we'll start with Tim. Just a little bit about your background. Tim's a level 3 plumbing apprentice, but Tim, give us a bit of your background maybe before you got into to plumbing and how you got in.
Oh, certainly. Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me fine? I'm in in the library here now. The walls are cinder blocks, so there's not too much echo here, is there?
No, it's clear. It's very good, Tim. Thank you.
Good enough. Great. So yeah, I got into, I established an apprenticeship back in July of 2019. I was a paramedic with the County of Simcoe Paramedic Services for 15 years prior, and needed a career change essentially. And I basically used some of the community resources in order to search for a career change. And much like some of the other representatives mentioned here today, there was a growing trend at the time when I got in, or there was a noticeable trend that there was a shortage of tradespeople. So my father was an electrician when I was a boy. So I did have some experience with the tools, so to speak. So I basically looked at some local companies that might have been hiring in, some of the trades that were in demand in the area, and plumbing seemed to be the right fit for me. So back in July of 2019, with the Career Center in the Bayfield Mall in Barrie, Reliance, and of course Skilled Trades Ontario, I worked alongside David Hartwick and Brian Hoysa in order to establish my apprenticeship since July of 2019. So it's been an excellent experience, and the transition, the support that I've had is absolutely phenomenal, because you can imagine such a specified career as a paramedic. The options in order to return to school or complete a degree, as I had one going, it was going to take me out of the workforce, or my ability to earn while I learned, to use the phrase. So it was a great fit for me. And again, all of the supports that were in place in order to allow that transition to happen were great, and can continue to be. I can absolutely attest to everything that was said so far by Chelsea, I believe it was, as well as David. The ministry has been a fantastic support, as well as the college. I absolutely agree that all of that is accurate. And as I go further down this process, the opportunity for advancement, promotion it just keeps growing and growing and growing. I absolutely agree that if you have a good work ethic, and you're ready to take some personal responsibility, the opportunities for growth are everywhere. And that's just in my experience as far as plumbing, but I mean, I'm certain that it is everywhere. And I hear the similar stories from my fellow apprentices here in the college. So
great.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Timothy. I'd asked Tim to mention that, because a lot of our apprentices are not the traditional 20-year-olds or 22-year-olds. Apprenticeship is a great area to get into if you've got a career and you're looking at a change, looking at something that might be of more value to you personally. I mean, we often undersell the life value of being an apprentice, being networked with folks in the trades. You have your own house, you've got lots of help with different things, but the average age of an apprentice is probably 7 or 8 years older than a traditional college student. But we have apprentices that are 65 years old, so there's all different avenues. Thank you, Tim. Maybe we'll go to Tila and Kayla.
Kaylee, you got it.
Kaylee, see, now I get it wrong again. Haley, it's a party, right? I have to remember it's a party.
Yeah,
it's a party on Cape Breton Island. Yeah. Okay. Yes. To Kaylee and Tila.
Yeah, of course. I'll start off with our intro. I'm sure. Kaylee Milne. I'm one of the Ontario Apprenticeship Coordinators. Tila is my coworker here. We work for CLAC, the Christian Labour Association of Canada, which is a multi-trade sector union. We're across Canada. In Ontario, we deal a lot with our employers that are within the construction industry and healthcare as our bread and butter as far as what we deal with as a union. But we've also had the privilege of being given funding federally for apprenticeship support programs and provincially. So we've had a lot of firsthand experience with the ministry and Skilled Trades Ontario and just how to better support job seekers. I'll let Tila do her intro and also talk about what we offer through our jobs program, a little bit about that information.
Sure.
So again, I'm Tila. So I work in a couple of the departments, one being our jobs department as well as our CAS/apprentice department. And what we focus on, like Kaylee said, was helping workers find work and employers find workers. So there's a lot of communications back and forth, making sure everybody is aware of what to expect, what to know, what they need, etc. Go through the training that they require, and then connecting them with those who are looking to hire. So.
Great. Yeah, and our sorry, Mac, I was just going to say, and our services overlap together. Yeah. We have multiple teams that work to provide services for our CLAC employers, so our unionized employers, but our jobs program is available to anyone. So you do not need to be a member of the union. We would connect you with CLAC employers, but any job seeker can come through our jobs program. I will add, once we're done talking, a link to our jobs website in the chat as well, but feel free to also reach out to us after this if you have any questions. But go ahead, Mac, if you had questions.
Thank you. And folks, for those of you that are not as familiar with CLAC, it is different in that it's a union, but it's also a service provider, right? Yeah. So it's a wonderful combination of both and on opportunities for general public to get information about not just apprenticeship, but also, I know from personal experience, you're heavily invested in healthcare and organizing healthcare. So fantastic. Thank you, Tila and Kayla. Gloria Evans is next on the list. Gloria, I only see at meetings like this, it seems these days, but because my background's apprenticeship and Gloria deals with a lot of apprenticeship issues, both employers. We've known each other for quite a while. So Gloria, I'll hand it over to you a little bit about what you do.
Thanks, Mac. So I've been a career practitioner with Georgian College through a couple of programs, actually, most recently since 2010 through Employment Ontario, Employment Services. And as Mac said, there's an Employment Ontario office in just about every little town all across the province. So here in Barrie, there are actually 4 service providers. One is Agilic, there's a career center in Bayfield Mall. I think you mentioned them, Tim. And Collage Boreal offers French language services. And Georgian College's services are in Barrie, Orillia, and Orangeville. So our services are free. They are supported through Employment Ontario with some support from the federal government as well. And what we do is we work with the job seeker right from day one. So it's very client focused. The job seeker comes to us with an apprenticeship goal, and or maybe if they don't have a goal, then our services, we would refer them to career decision-making workshops, because as Tim alluded to, not everyone comes to us with a specific goal in mind when they're 18 years old. Quite often it'll be a second career that they're looking at, or maybe they did something that I encouraged my sons to do, which was go to university and college and get a degree or a diploma, and you would be set for life. And now I realize that there are 3 pillars to post-secondary education, and certainly that's university and college, and the 3rd pillar is apprenticeship. So I'm really passionate about the skilled trades and some of the services that we offer, and again, they're all free and they could be costly. Like, for example, if you wanted to find out about, who you really are, what are your personal core values, what are your interests, what are your skills, we can help you with assessments that ordinarily might cost you hundreds of dollars. We can provide you with those for free. We also support you with a strategic plan for your job search. And I find that's one of the parts that people are most often missing. Sometimes when you're looking for an apprenticeship, you hear that it's really competitive, especially for some trades like electrical, construction electrical, and you start applying to everything and everybody hoping that, you land something. So when you have a strategic focus and a strategic plan, and we can help guide you with that. My middle name is actually relationships building, so or cold calling. So I reach out to employers. And in fact, when we talked earlier about there being a shortage of employers willing to hire and train apprentices, one of my roles is to speak to groups of employers and present a business case to them and why, they might want to consider apprenticeships. And quite often it's very effective. So we can support people with the labor market research. That's another area that I find people find challenging to do. We have free workshops on resume writing, writing a cover letter, and preparing for interviews, because when you go into a competitive process for an employer who's hiring one apprentice and maybe they've had 400 applications for that one opportunity, you want to be ready. You really just got one kick at the can in that interview. And of course, we encourage people to do informational interviews as well. We provide placements. So this is really interesting because this gives you and a potential employer to see if you have the right skill set that they're looking for, or if you're what they refer to as a good corporate fit for their company. So in other words, and I think it was Chelsea that alluded to the essential skills that employers are looking for. They're not necessarily the technical and mechanical skills, so you don't need to have a whole lot of background or even any background. What they want is critical thinking, problem solving, teamwork, collaboration, personal initiative, strong work ethic, oral and written communication skills, and of course they want to know you have a good foundation in math and science, and that you have excellent customer service skills. So I have employers that say to me, hey, did the guy work on a farm? And I thought, well, what does a farm have to do with electrical? And basically the employer says to me, they learn to be resourceful and they probably have some mechanical skills and they have an aptitude to learn. So those things are really, really important. So I'm privileged to do the work I do. I really love it. And I encourage you to reach out to all the Employment Ontario offices in your area to acquire that support for yourself or for your client.
Great, thank you, Gloria. And I guess I touched on on the first one of the first questions I was going to ask, and that is around skills and the value of soft skills. We often talk about apprenticeship as being, what we teach are the hard skills in the in-class apprenticeship sessions. They're in the shop, but the value of soft skills, so being on time, teamwork, leadership. I just wonder if someone that maybe, Tim, if I could touch on you and then go up to Tila and Kay, about what you hear from employers or what your personal experience is with those soft skills. Tim?
Sure, if I could comment on that, I would say that absolutely, during my course of my apprenticeship, you certainly do come into contact with other apprentices or journey persons, that work with other companies, and these are anecdotal stories. However, they are present and they do actually happen. And, you know, this a simple example would be employers that have a chief complaint of people or of, let's say, you know, first level apprentices or persons that they've hired that simply do not show up to work after the first few days or something as such. So I can again attest to that point that is, I would say, a chief complaint in my experience of hearing these stories that people aren't showing up to work and or, you know, maybe quote unquote a little bit lazy or lacking the initiative. So I would agree with what Gloria was saying, in that again, if you have that a good work ethic and you're willing to learn, and again, even being mechanically inclined is certainly helpful, but that's something that you're going to learn through the process. So you just need that willingness to learn. And yeah, I definitely experienced that myself, as well as heard other stories of it as well.
Good. It's almost, you know, I think we misname soft skills. We should actually call soft skills hard skills, because so many people seem to struggle with them.
When it comes to apprenticeships, I would agree.
Attila and Kylo, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, basically, you know, really the same as Gloria and Tim were saying. There really are non-negotiable skills. Is sort of how we sort of address it. Like when we're speaking with applicants who, you know, call us up, ask us what the apprenticeship program is all about, you know, how do they get a job, how do they start their journey, you know, we will do pre-screening with them and help them along and give them the tips and the tricks and the trades and the information in that. And absolutely, one of the first things we do say to them is, if you are on time and you actually show up, you're kind of got the leg in to the others, right? You know, and just make sure that you are there, ready, willing, and able to work. Like, it goes a long way, your eagerness and your flexibility, and, you know, even your adaptability to understand that just because this is what you're doing today, that doesn't mean that's the same thing you're going to do tomorrow. And you want to take on, you know, new skills, you know, learn and absorb as much as you can, you know, and as long as you're willing to do that, and you're willing, again, to put in the time to show the company that is going to sponsor you that you're worth it to them. Like, you know, this is an investment both to you and to them, to make sure that, you know, for the next 5 years minimum, that this is where you should be and this is where you want to be. And, you know, it's a win-win for everybody. So definitely something that we promote, again, through our jobs program. You know, when we ask them to fill out all the information they know, but then we also get into, well, here's what you should also know and what you should also look at and continue to do your research and that sort of stuff. So absolutely non-negotiable skills.
I like that, Tila. I'm gonna steal that from you.
You may, absolutely.
Because I can tell you, I speak to many employers. Between the two campuses that I look after, we've got about 600 apprentices, and I never get complaints from employers about technical skills of our apprentice. I've never had someone come up and say, well, gee, I wish they knew how to thread a pipe. That's what I teach them there, right? Mm-hmm. The comments about, I wish they would participate in conversations during breaks and not stand at the water tank and look at their phone. It's interesting to hear those soft skills, non-negotiable skills. I don't know, like that part of how important it is to have those skills at the workplace. Folks, we've only got a couple of minutes. I'm wondering, Shari and Kelly, if I should open it up for questions from the crowd, if there's anything. I have other questions here. Some are more ministry related, but if there is specific questions that we could ask, I see Heather's got her hand up. Heather, what's your question?
So mine is, I guess mine's actually more of a comment. First of all, I want to thank everybody. This is amazing. And especially Timothy for giving your lived experience. That's a huge thing. I'm actually part of a literacy and basic skills program. So we the literacy and essential skills. And I just wanted to throw out there that is another step of support for apprenticeship. We are free programs that offer support in skills upgrading as far as whether it be mathematics or written skills. support people with test taking and getting them prepped for a lot of those tests that need to happen, because we forget how to do those sometimes. And LBS programs offer free soft skills solutions certification. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because I know we probably do have LBS in there, but I didn't hear it. So we're part of the Employment Ontario Network, and we love working with our EO partners.
Thank you, Heather, and good shout out for the Soft Skills Solution Program. Member of the Simcoe Muskoka Workforce Development Board, so been a part of that. Thank you very much. Kelly, I see, oh, Kelly's clapping. Thank you. We're getting close to 10:30. I just want to say, you know, the key piece, the gold standard here is getting that full-time job, right? You cannot become an apprentice, and I think this is where there's some misunderstanding. You cannot become an apprentice unless you have that job, that sponsor. So you may be wondering why there's so much talk here about the services that are out there for folks looking for apprenticeship. But that's why you can't, it's not like a college program where you can say, well, I'm going to take, you know, 1-year plumbing program. That doesn't make you an apprentice. You use that experience in order to become an apprentice. So please, folks, take advantage of the services that are available to you. There are many, and thank you, Heather, for the shout out for literacy and basic skills. There's the Literacy Network, employment services. One of the biggest challenges we have is people, I will have especially younger folks come and say, I want to be an apprentice, but I don't know what I want to do. So there are organizations, the employment services organizations, that can help you narrow down, you know, do you want to be in construction? Do you want to be on the manufacturing side, transportation? We haven't even touched on the transportation side. It's a very large sector of apprenticeship, automotive service tech, auto body, paint, truck and coach, truck and trailer. There's just so many opportunities out there right now that we can help you get there. So I think it is 10:30, and
Mac,
yes, Tim.
Pardon me I just wanted to inject one thing here. It's certainly worth mentioning in my experience. We're talking about you know, maybe a lack of sponsors, and, you know, perhaps a lack of interest maybe in some areas or demographics in specific as far as apprentices go. Worth mentioning certainly is an untapped resource of women in trades. And I just wanted to mention an organization called SRDC, Social Research and Demonstration Corporation. They're a nonprofit organization out of Ottawa. I'm happy to share a link, but what they essentially do is they're a nonprofit organization that develops pilot projects for specific demographics across the country, really. And they've recently developed a project out in British Columbia that's being adapted, you know, from west and making its way out east, let's say. And these will be 3 to 5 year long projects where they will assess pre, during, and post, you know, the experiences of, in this case, women in the trades. And they will assess a variety of domains in these people's lives, not just monetary or educational, but, you know, physical well-being, spiritual, so on and so forth. So even if you were to Google SRDC, Social Research and Demonstration Corporation, Women in Trades, it'll give you a direct link to these pilot projects. And one of the reasons I mention it is that in all of the levels of the classes that I've been in, there haven't been any ladies, but in this advanced class, there is one, and there is also at my place of employment an effort in order to you know, help to let's say break down some of the barriers for ladies in order to get into the trade. So I thought that was worth mentioning.
Excellent. Thank you, Tim. Yeah, there's you know, I think across Ontario there have been women in skilled trades programs, and different organizations have been initiating them. So they certainly, you know, make up a very small percentage in the overall apprenticeship numbers. We did quite a bit of work 20 some odd years ago. At that time, it was less than 1%. I think we're up to about 8% now. Now it really depends on the trades. So, but overall, yeah, there's definite push for equity deserving groups to raise those percentages in the apprenticeship field. Yeah, great. Thank you, Tim. All right, Kelly McKenna, Simcoe Workforce Development Board and Literacy Network.
Thank you, Mac. Thanks, Mac, for your hosting of the expert panel. And thank you again to Gloria, Kaylee, Tila, and Tim for helping us answer some of those questions about pathways for apprenticeship, and also some great supports there as well. I love how we went from soft, hard to non-negotiable in that conversation. Yeah, thank you all for that great information. Next up on our speakers list, we have Larissa Hoffman from Edge Factor. Now, if you're not sure about which trade to go in, I think Larissa is going to tell us some resources that might help us make that decision. She is the vice president of Edge Factor, and she's also an award-winning business leader and film producer director. I've known Larissa for a long time, and she is passionate about using her power of storytelling to help inspire students and job seekers to launch rewarding training and career pathways in the skilled trades. She's a friend of ours, and we are very happy to welcome her here to tell us a little bit more about Edge Factor. So Larissa, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Kelly. It's wonderful to be here today. You know, finding a career is not easy, and there's been so many wonderful questions that people have raised in today's session. You know, how do you connect? How do you find out about opportunities? How do you know what you want to do with your life? How do you know that you've got the right technical skills and the right soft skills that it will take to be successful in the career of your choosing? For me, when I graduated from high school, 2007, I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I didn't know what I was good at. I didn't even really know what I enjoyed. I didn't know what types of industries existed. I was from Burlington, Ontario, and I thought, oh my goodness, all my friends are going to post-secondary. They're headed to, you know, whether it's university or college or whatever programs they were excited about. And I thought, oh dear, am I going to spend all of the hard-earned money that I've worked throughout high school to earn on an education that might not be what leads me to a career that I will enjoy? And so I actually paused. I said, I'm not going to jump the gun, if you will, and join a program. I want to wait and see and kind of test things out and find what I want to do, and then determine the program that was right for me. So I went straight to work at the age of 18, and I started going back to that question that was earlier, you know, how do you connect with opportunities in your community if you're new to the area, which I totally was. I handed my resume out to any company that I thought looked interesting around my area. And I actually got a job at a local TV station, climbed the ladder, started bringing independent films all across Canada, theatrical releases, working with Sony. And then one day, I got a phone call to my office who was someone trying to reach a friend of mine in a different part of the building. It was a wrong phone number, and it was a guy named Jeremy. And he and I somehow, for some reason, clicked. We started talking, and he said, you know, I really feel like we got to connect. We got to meet. A couple days later, we spent 5 hours together with him and his wife going through what Edge Factor was all about. And it was only a year old at the time. Well, that was 11 years ago. Since then, we have launched a platform with about 3,100, so over 3,000 now, videos, activities, and lesson plans that focus on solving the challenge that is not unique to my story. How can you discover what you're interested in, the career that's right for you? And I'm going to share today my screen as well as a couple of links that will help you as job seekers, but also the partners that are on the call, to understand what opportunities are available and what do you like and what don't you like. Because sometimes we know that actually finding something you're not interested in can be just as valuable as finding something that you are. Sometimes it's by process of elimination that we go through and we say, you know I don't want to do that. If you faint at the sight of blood, healthcare is probably not for you. So that's one thing, one industry that you can cross off the list, right? Vice versa. If you love helping people, you love the science and blood doesn't scare you, hey, healthcare might be right for you. So by exposing ourselves to what industries and what types of careers exist, we can understand what sparks our interest. And when Kelly introduced me, she talked about the power of storytelling. That is our passion, helping people understand what opportunities exist through real life storytelling. And so this is the Edge Factor platform. This is a partnership that we have with the workforce leading boards in Simcoe County, County of Simcoe. Right at the top of this page, I'm just going to walk you through this page. And again, the link is in the chat for you to check out. Here you can see there are specific and important links to labor market job demand reports from work in Simcoe County. There is also a community directory helping to answer that question. What opportunities exist within my community? Here are links that we have compiled with our partners in Simcoe and the surrounding areas of companies in your region. As I continue, there's also some really great Made in Simcoe County videos that you can check out, created by, of course, Work in Simcoe County. So these are external links that you can check out with our partners. Browse local jobs as well. You can answer some key questions that you might have in terms of what jobs are available. You can see that there's a lot that are open right now. So those are helpful links right at the top. And then you can also check out some of the content that we created in your community. So you can see I'm actually not logged into the platform. You do not need to have an Edge Factor membership or account to be able to access these tools. Although if you want to add things to your favorites and unlock more content, you're welcome to click the login button and create a free account. To watch media, click on the thumbnail. You can see it opens up in the player view, and you can click the play button. So I'm going to actually click play on this for a moment and just share about 20 seconds or so of this video so that you can get a taste of the content on this.
Welcome to an Edge Factor virtual workplace experience. Today, Dan takes us around HGV equipment, showing us the many jobs, roles, and opportunities available in the agricultural equipment industry. We'll be looking at the following chapters. Chapter 1. An overview of HGV equipment. Chapter 2, education and career pathways. Chapter 3, technology and safety. And finally, Chapter 4, opportunities in HGV equipment.
So I'm going to jump ahead and just put this on mute. This is a virtual field trip that we created that is ultimately a walk and talk tour of what is it like to work at this company in your region, HJV Equipment. Here you've got the host speaking directly to camera, and this is providing people an inside look at some of the companies that exist within your region. So often we drive past these buildings with no idea of what is going on behind closed doors. And so this content offers you the opportunity to discover, hey, what is it like? What are the types of tools and opportunities and careers and teams of people that come alive at a place like HJV Equipment? Right here, you also have Barry Welding. We did a virtual field trip with them as well. These are about 15 minutes long. You can even watch it in a sped up version. And if you are presenting, you are welcome to download this as a lesson plan so that you can host actually an in-person discussion. That is for the partners on the call if you're looking for tools to do that. As I scroll down, you can see there is a ton of content. Skilled responders, these are 2-minute videos that help you learn about different careers, but also what was the spark for those individuals, real life people in Ontario who said, wow, my eyes are open to this career and this is how I know it's right for me. What did their journey look like? Skilled trades career profiles. What does a day in the life of a general carpenter, machinist, millwright, agricultural technician look like? What are some of their typical responsibilities? You can watch all of this content. Healthcare careers, information technology. What does a software engineer do? The list goes on. Long-term care. And then again, circling back to that connection piece of understanding the opportunities that are in your region. All of these company profiles you can click on, you can learn more about the company, check out their website, and we'll be adding more and more information to these profiles throughout the months. We actually just launched the ability to have an apprenticeship profile where companies can come in, add a free company organization profile, but also add information on the apprenticeships that they offer. So some exciting things happening there too. You can learn about local schools, and then you can also connect with us. Everything on this page available for you. I would also say at the top of this page, there's a link to something called the Future Skills Toolkit. And this page is also filled with a ton of content that you can check out. Here you can watch real life stories of people who have launched apprenticeships and their career in every part of the skilled trades: motive power, automotive, service industry, construction, and industrial. All of these people overcame obstacles and also shared what their personal backstory is. What are the things that inspired them and that they enjoy doing even in their personal life that play out and that have a role in helping them decide what career was right for them. You can also check out tech ed programs in Canada. As I scroll down, you can also watch more career profiles and learn about some of the most important soft skills that come alive in the skilled trades and some of the importance of what is the skilled trades and what makes a good apprentice. Is it a combination of attitude and aptitude? You bet. I'm going to leave it there. My 10 minutes is up. I'm so thankful for our time together, and I hope that this has helped you to access a resource that you can explore and be able to discover what's right for you.
That's great, Larissa. Thank you so much. We got a comment from Heather saying we love Edge Factor, and that it's actually a great resource for LBS learners because of that virtual workplace learning. So that's great. Thank you so much. The link is in the chat. And basically, if you live anywhere within the regional boundary of Simcoe County, you can access that for free.
That's right. Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thank you, Larissa. All right, we're getting very close to our time, and I want to be very cognizant not to keep you guys here for much longer, but I did want to share some local resources with you for job seekers in our region. Again, we are Simcoe County and Muskoka, and so we have some great local job sites that are really a fantastic resource for any job seeker. And basically these job sites pull from over 100 different job sites on the internet. So big ones like, the Job Bank, Indeed, Workopolis. And basically it takes all those jobs and aggregates them into one spot for our region. And Sherry, I don't know if you can pull up, or maybe we can just pop them in the chat. But the first resource is Work in Simcoe County. And that is basically any job seeker looking for a job from north of Aurelia down to Bradford and over to Collingwood. You should check out Work in Simcoe County. And again, maybe we can just put that in the chat. There is a similar site available for the Muskoka region. And this is the Workforce Development Job Board. And again, we'll put that in the chat for you. But if you are in the Muskoka region and looking for a job, this is the same site that aggregates all the jobs across the internet and basically funnels them into one local spot for the Muskoka region. The other resource, and again, we will share this in a follow-up email with you guys, but is our local labor market report. And this is part of a workforce analysis of our region. Chelsea did a great job sharing what were those top 10 trades that are in demand. across Canada. And what we do is take a look at a more granular level and what are some of the top 10 trades in our region. And so I've just shared that. It's that really weird PDF link that's in the chat. But that link will take you right to that local labor market report, which will show you guys exactly what is happening in our local regions with regards to apprenticeship. So I want to thank everyone for attending today. We had some great speakers. Thank you to Skilled Trades Ontario, the Ministry of Labor, Immigration Training and Skills Development. Thank you to all of our panel and sharing some real life experiences with us. And of course, Edge Factor, helping us explore some other ideas. I'm going to just see that Vincent, your hand is up, and so I will take any questions. Go ahead, Vincent.
Great. Thank you. Just a question for Larissa for Edge Factor. So I'm with the French Language School Board in Southern Ontario via Mont School Board. Yeah. And I'm just wondering if Edge Factors has any in their plans to produce the content in French for this French language schools and their students.
We do have a couple of videos that we filmed in French, and we're actually launching closed captioning. We have a brand new platform. So we had a platform for 7 years, and then we actually recoded it completely from scratch over the last year. And so we're recoding the ability to have closed captioning for all of our content, including, of course, in French, but many other languages as well.
Right. So that also include like the lesson plans that you mentioned and stuff like that?
Yes. Right now, I think we have about 22 virtual field trips that have the French translation, including the lesson plans and the full page available in French. But absolutely, there will be lesson plans that are included in more and more in French as well.
All right. So how do I access that? Do I have to log in, like create an account or something? Or right now it's showing me browsing as a student. I can
connect with you offline, Vincent, for that.
Sure.
We can walk through it.
Okay. I'll send you my email and then I'll put the email in the chat.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Yeah, that's a great question, Vincent. I'm just curious, Larissa, other than French, are there any other languages that they're available in?
So our closed captioning feature will have many languages. Pretty much whatever language exists will be available.
That's great. Okay.
Be able to Spanish, Chinese, you name it. Yeah,
that's
great
fantastic.
Community as well. Really important for us to help newcomers as they come in, immigrating to Canada, helping them discover the incredible industries Ontario has to offer. So, yeah.
Brilliant. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. What a great resource. Thank you. All right, everyone. We have come to the end. Apologies for keeping you a little longer. We have, it looks like we're having a little problem with the survey. The link maybe is not working, but we would really appreciate if everyone could complete that survey link. It is part of our deliverables for the ministry, and would appreciate your feedback, of course, as we move forward and keep developing the programming. So thank you, everyone, for joining us this morning for the webinar on apprenticeship for job seekers. We are hosting another 2 sessions coming up on the next Wednesday, the next 2 Wednesdays. Next week will be for employers. So if you have an employer that's interested in onboarding apprentices, please send them to this webinar. And on the 25th of January, we will have one for service providers across Ontario. So really looking at apprenticeship at the provincial level. So you're welcome to join us for all of those as well. We want to thank you and invite you to join us for the next ones. Thank you, everyone. We will be forwarding you the link to that survey and following up with the resources as well.